Am I the asshole for walking away after I discovered my husband's backup life? I'm a 26-year-old woman, and I've been married to my husband, Chris, for 6 years. We don't have children yet, but we've been talking seriously about it for the past year. From my perspective, our marriage wasn't perfect, but it was honest. Or at least I believed it was. Chris has always been practical, the kind of person who plans ahead, saves money, and thinks through worst-case scenarios. I admired that about him. I thought it meant stability. Last month, that illusion collapsed. Chris asked me to help organize some financial documents for tax season. He handed me a folder on his computer labeled Future. I assumed it was retirement stuff, investments, maybe insurance. It wasn't. Inside were multiple spreadsheets and documents that stopped me cold. One file was titled If Things Change. Another was called Solo Budget. I opened them. Chris had created a detailed financial plan for a life without me. Rent estimates for a one-bedroom apartment, monthly expenses calculated down to groceries, a timeline showing when it would be least disruptive to separate, ideally after we had one child, but before a second. There was even a note estimating how sympathetic people would be depending on the timing. I felt like I couldn't breathe. This wasn't a draft. It wasn't a fleeting thought. These documents had been updated regularly over the past 2 years. When I confronted him, he didn't panic. He didn't apologize right away. He just looked embarrassed, like he'd been caught doing something private, not something deeply hurtful. He said it was just planning. He said everyone thinks about backup options. He claimed it didn't mean he wanted to leave me. So I asked him the obvious question. Why were you planning a life without me while talking about having a baby with me? He hesitated. Then he said something I can't unhear. I just wanted to be prepared. A child makes things more complicated. That's when I realized something terrifying. He wasn't planning with me. He was planning around me. I asked if he ever intended to tell me about these plans. He said no. He said I would have taken it the wrong way. He said I'm emotional and wouldn't understand his logic. Logic. I told him that what he did wasn't practical. It was deceptive. He had removed my ability to make an informed choice about my own future, about my body, about bringing a child into a marriage where one person was already mapping exits. He got defensive, said I was blowing it out of proportion, said he never cheated, never lied directly, never stopped loving me. But that's the thing. You don't need to cheat to betray someone. You can betray them by quietly preparing to abandon them while asking them to commit more deeply. I moved out that weekend. Now everyone has an opinion. His parents say I'm punishing him for being responsible. My friends are split. Some say planning doesn't mean intention. Others say this is unforgivable. Chris keeps telling me I'm destroying our marriage over spreadsheets and hypotheticals. But those spreadsheets weren't hypothetical to me. They were proof that he had already rehearsed a life without me while I was planning a life with him. I don't feel angry anymore. I feel clear. I told him I want a separation and possibly a divorce. Now I'm being called cold, dramatic, and unwilling to communicate. He says I should have talked it out instead of walking away. But how do you talk through a future someone already planned without you? So now I'm here, asking strangers because the people closest to me are too involved to be honest. Am I the asshole for walking away after discovering my husband's detailed backup plan for a life without me?